Radhe Radhe. Dandava Pranam. Can you turn on the lights, please?
Oh!
Dandava Pranam.
Dandava Pranam.
Welcome to Shri Radha Vinodi Hari. The other way. Welcome to Shri Radha Vinodi Hari.
Shri Vrindavanadham ki jai.
Srila Gurudev ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Rupanuga Gauri Guru Varga ki jai. Pati Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaur Hari ki jai. Radha Vinodi Hari Ju ki jai. Radha Ramana Ju ki jai. Giriraj Mahārāja ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Lord Jesus Christ ki jai. Jesus Cristo ki jai.
He's there today.
Oh look, he's here. Look at there. Shri Gita Jayanti ki jai. Madhavati Te Ekadashi ki jai. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So we will begin with Mangalacharan, page 1 of Shri Gauriya Giti Gucha.
Or just look for Jiva Pavana Prabhu and he's already posted it.
Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam. Śrīmate Bhaktivedānta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshakarine Namo Vishnupadaya Gaura Preshnaya Bhutale Shri Śrīmad Bhakti Pragyanam Keshavayati Namine Adimatya Saraswati Namine Shri Varshabharani Devi Ganikaya Kripabhaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Naine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryo Jvala Premandhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinakayane Rupanugamni Udhava Siddhanta Bhaktaharine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Viprarambhana Sambodhe Padam Bhujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Balayate Gaura Virbhava Bhume Swan Nirjeshta Sajanam Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannāthāya Te Namaha Vanchākalpatarubhyascha Kripāsindhubhyaeva ca Patitānaṁ Pāvanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahāvadanyāya Krishna Premam Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Nande Gauratvishe Namaha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dīnabandho Jaganpate Gopesha Gopikākantha Radhakantha Namostute Taptakanchagagorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhasute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jayatam Surato Pango Mama Mandam Matergati Matsarvasvapalam Bojo Radha Madanamo Hara Vidyavrindaranyakapadmanam Śrīmad Ratnagara Sinhasanastho Shri Śrī Radha Śrīla Govindadeva Veshtanihi Sevyamanussara Śrīmad Sarasarambhi Vamshivakātakastitaha Kalshande Gusvaragokir Gopinatha Shriyestunaha Vrindaye Tulasidevaye Priyaye Keshavasya cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavatrai Namo Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishna Bhaktarupasvarupakam Bhaknavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhaktashaktikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Chekodarpanamarjanam Bhakmoha Tavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Vairava Chandrika Vidaranam Vidyamadhu Jivanam Krishna Sankirtanam, Hare Ram, Hare Rameva Kevalam, Karunaskeva Naskeva Naskeva, Pratiranyata. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Can you maybe zip it up and put it just
I don't
in there?
think it's that.
No?
Because we weren't doing this earlier. It's not that. So the devotees from Kaligadi,
Kaliyari?
Kaligadi, Nandini and Doyahari are now with Isha Thakurani and Yudhishthir in Yadava and Oristano. So they're all together, the familia with us today. So our Dandavat Pranam to all the Vaishnavas. Merry Hari Krishna, Merry Christmas.
So you've gone from Kali Hari, Black Krishna, to Hari Stano, the place of Hari, who is actually that person who steals the heart of Srimati Radhika, or whose heart is stolen by her. So, very nice.
Beautiful.
So Gurudev Kripa Mundidiya.
Page 32. FGA.
In that tune?
I don't know. FG on the thingy and A.
I'm trying to remember where it goes.
Actually, Mamata, you guys are the best Christmas gift. I didn't even know if anyone would really come today because most devotees might be with their families or their parents or something. So I'm very, very happy that you're all with us today. It's a little
That's
low.
a G and a D, but you need that like that.
No. Do what it says here, FG8.
But that's for a different tune. It's not for this tune.
It is. Okay.
Listen. Śrī Gurudev ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Rupānuga Guru ki jai, Śrī Guru Parampara ki jai. So if you write Amar Jivan right next to it, and then just D. So we'll still know in the future.
You're just making yourself right whatever you want.
Ebaro Kuruna Koro Vaishnava Goshai.
Page number 44. That's an A. In whatever.
Which? 44?
44. 44.
Make sure that you all stay for Darshan afterward, close-up Darshan, because there has been a adjustment, a change in the Shringar.
They're even more cuddly.
More cuddly, more cute, more beautiful. Ebaro karuna koro Vaishnava Goshai. Hare Aparadhe Vaishnava Thakur ki
Jai.
jai. Not yet. Because Hari Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama. That contains Hari Haraye, Krishna,
Krishna,
Yadavaya,
and Namaha.
Gopal, Govinda Ram, and then Sri Chaitanya
Oh
and
my God.
Nityananda. But it also contains Bhagavad Gita. So it contains Bhagavad
right.
Gita in it. And I don't know. Hari Haraye Nama Krishna and the 6 Goswamis. Most of that bhajan is actually glorification of Rup Goswami and the other Goswamis of Vrindavan. Meaning the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. 148. Hari Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Hari Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Hari Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Gopala Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan.
Gopala Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan.
Giridhari Gopinath Sanātana ki
Jai.
Nadiya Godru mein Nityananda Mahajan, page 163. One 6-3 Nadiya Godru mein Nityananda Mahajan. Pati Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Nadiya Godru mein Nityananda Mahajan Patiya Shena Mahatma Jivera Karo Nadiya Godru mein Nityananda Mahajan Patiya Shena Mahatma Jivera Karo Shraddhavanna jana he Shraddhavanna jana he Patiya Shena Mahatma Jivera Karo Nadiya Godru mein Nityananda Mahajan Patiya Shena Mahatma Jivera Karo Prabhu Raya Gyane Bhai Magi Esha Bolo Krishna Bhajo Krishna Koro Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaura Hari Ki
Jai.
Vande Vishwambhara Padakamalam, page 339. After this. Vande Vishwambhara Padakamalam. Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Now, Shuddha Bhakata Charanarenu Bhajana Anukul. Page 216 in the songbook. If you do not have a songbook, then Sudevi. If you do not have a songbook, is Jiva Pavana Prabhu there?
Yes.
Dandavat Pranam. Then we have the grace of Jiva Pavana Prabhu. He kindly posts the bhajans in the comment section of the thread. So just scroll to the most recent post of Jiva Pavana Prabhu, and there you will find the bhajan along with its meaning and the commentaries of our acharyas.
No.
Okay. Ooh. Shuddha Bhakata Charanare Bhajano Yanukula.
Shuddha Bhakata Charanare Bhajano
Bhagat Seva Param Siddhi Premalati
Bhakata Seva Param Siddhi Premalati
Gauraya Pran Madhavato Ekadashi ki jai.
Is it like we gave something for them?
I can't remember. I'll have to double check.
Because I need to thank them. I think it was.
I'm not sure. Somebody did.
No.
No?
Not that I know of.
Radhe Braj Janaman Sukakari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam. Page 366. Śrī Radhe Braj Janamana Sukakari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam.
Śrī Radhe Braj Janamana Sukakari Radhe Shyama Shyama Shyam.
Radhe Braj Janamana Sukakari Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam.
Me or?
No, with this.
Yeah. Okay, good.
I can't remember which version of Damodarāṣṭakam we did yesterday. That is page 290. We did Gaudiya yesterday? Yeah. Okay. Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam, just for those of you who might not know why we're still doing Damodarasṭakam after Kartik, it's because we're still studying from Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam after Kartik. Namānishvaram Sachit Ānandarūpam Rasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yashodabhiyolukhaladhavamanam Param Visham Atyanta Kodrutyabhutya Udantamuhurnetra Yugmam Rijantam Param Bhoja Purvena Shatam Kanetam Muhu Shvasakam Padrirekham Papanto Sita Graivam Damodaram Bhaktivedānta Iti Dritsvarīlābhir Ānanda Kunde Sadhoshamiva Jantam Akyapanantam Tadiyeshitajeshu Bhaktairjitatam Puna Prema Tasam Chatariti Vande Varam Deva Moksham Na Mokshavadhimva Vachanyam Deveham Varishadapiha Idam Deva Purnatho Gopalavaram Sada me manosyavi rashtanti mandai Idam devukham nojam avyaktanidai Kritam kuntalai siddham raktaishtabhutya Muhushtumitam nimbalakadharam me Manasyavirastam param lakshanavai Namo Devo Damodarānanta Vishnu Prasiddha Prabho Dukham Dalabhimantam Kripadrishti Veshyadi Vinambatanam Vihanisham Managam Vidhyakshidesha Uderakhodobadha Mutyaigayadva Vayamochito Bhakti Bhajo Kritocha Tatta Prema Bhaktin Swakam Mitrayacha Namo Damodarāṣṭakam ki.
Is it freezing in here or just me?
It's getting cooler. But I'm playing the drums, so I'm a bit more warm. The controllers over there. Do you have any particular tune of Hare Krishna?
Well, I like this tune, but you never do it. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Because I don't really know the second and third parts. But if you know them, then I just don't know it.
Okay. The one that goes, Hare Krishna.
Okay. Oldie but goldie.
Do you remember it?
Yes. Let's see if we can do this.
I'm an oldie, so I like the old.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Rama Rama Hare Hare Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupāna Gauri Guruvarga ki jai, Pāvana Śrī Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Śrī Satyavrata Muni ki jai, Radha Bihari ki jai, Gaur Bhaktivedānta ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Do you want to just do the lamp real quick? I know that tune, I just don't know it.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Śrī Dāmodara ki
Jai.
jai, Radha Ramanu ki
Jai.
jai, Radha Bihari ki
Jai.
jai, Sachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai,
Jai.
Giriraj Mahārāja ki jai,
Jai.
Shalagram Shila ki jai,
Jai.
Laddu Gopala ki jai,
Jai.
Chota Chota Laddu Gopala ki jai.
Jai.
I don't even know if that's the right tune to go with that. I don't remember that well. I
It
just
was
did the
good
best
though,
I
I
could
liked it.
based on what I could recall spontaneously. Thank you. Oh. You remember that tune, Jiva Pavana Prabhu?
It's on 26, but it just feels cold.
It might be on eco mode. One second. Just slide it over. It's on eco mode.
Alright, just leave it, whatever's best.
No, that's fine. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktāya Tadbhaktāya Namo Namaha Ajnānatimirāndhasya Jnānanjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Namine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedānta Swāminiti Namine Vanchā kalpatarubhyascha Kripa sindhubhya evacha Patitānaṁ pāvanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vācālam Pangum langayate girim Yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad, Ashto Tarashata Shri Śrīmad Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. In the same thousands of Dandavat Pranam in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad, Ashto Tarashata Shri Śrīmad Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Swāmī Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanuga, Gauriya, Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present and future, including all of those who are present with us today, I offer my Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, dear Vaishnavas, Radhe 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 Shyam.
Radhe Shyam. In Vrindavan, if someone sees you and they say Radhe Radhe, you can either respond with Radhe Radhe or Radhe Shyam. Sometimes you're just walking by anyone, Radhe, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Radhe. It's like that everywhere. So today, we are observing 3 important holy days. 1, the day of the birth of Jesus Christ, Jesus Cristo.
Even though technically they say it's not really his birth.
We don't know if this is really his birthday, but this is the day when everyone kind of celebrates it. 2, we are celebrating Ekadashi. And 3, we are celebrating the appearance of Bhagavad Gita. The day that Bhagavad Gita was spoken was on this Ekadashi. So, generally they don't follow the birth of Jesus according to the, or Jesu, or however you pronounce him. Christo, Christa, Kritsnas. So many different ways of pronouncing Christ, the name. However, most follow his day according to the solar calendar, and the Ekadashis and the Gita Jayanti is observed according to the lunar calendar, from the moon calendar. So I don't know originally if they were following the birth of Jesus according to the moon calendar. From what I understand, back in that time, everyone was using the moon calendar, and then later on, the solar calendar was discovered. So I can't say exactly. But today is a very auspicious and holy day. So, before speaking about Ekadashi and before speaking about Gita Jayanti, I would like to speak a little bit something about Jesu Christo. Because he is the manifestation of the... You want to show it close? Here you go. This is from your grandmother?
No, this is just...
Of the mercy and compassion of the Lord.
He's always part of my altar.
And our Guru Varga, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, has mentioned about Jesus, Jesu, that he is Jagat Guru. So before glorifying Krishna, or before glorifying even Krishna's form as Ekadashi, Pratamam tu Gurum Pujam. First of all, we glorify that Jagat Guru. That is the Shakti Avesh, who is manifesting the mercy of the Lord in this world. And we see even to this day, thousands of years, 2,000 years after his departure from this world, or from our vision, how his teachings have affected the world. And so all of our Guru Varga, our Srila Prabhupada, our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, our Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur, they have all acknowledged and honored Jesus as a transcendental personality, a pure devotee, and as the representative of God. Some claim he is God, but of course, as Vaishnavas, we don't like this idea. We understand Sakshat Haritvena Samashta Shastre Uktashtatabha Vyata Eva Sadbhi. According to all revealed scriptures, Sri Guru is non-different from Hari, Sakshat Hari, directly. This principle, known as Guru, is directly Hari. But there's a speciality within it. In order that we do not have this conception that everything is just one, we understand that there is one supreme personality, that is Krishna. And all others manifest on the other aspect, or the supreme personality of servitor Godhead function. So that is the Bhritya, or the servitor. And those who engage all others in the service of the Lord, who are themselves pure in their love and their service, they are known as Guru, who take everyone from the darkness to the light. So, Kintu Prabhurya Priya Eva Tasya. Although they are one, in essence, in terms of sakshat, directly, non-different. However, Kintu Prabhurya, Kintu means but, or however, Prabhurya Priya Eva Tasya. Prabhurya means the Supreme Lord, his near and dear associate, Priya Eva Tasya. So we understand this according to the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the simultaneous difference and not difference between the Lord and his energies. Although in one sense there is oneness or unity, in another sense there is also variety. And that variety is manifested in the fact that there is only one supreme personality, and that is Krishna. Ete chang sakala pungsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. And all others are his manifestations or his servants. So when Jesus is saying, even the Sermon on the Mount, and it's spoken in many different languages now, I don't know the Aramaic, but he's speaking about his Father. And he has also said that we are all children of God. So in one sense you hear he's the only Son of God, and then in another sense you hear him saying that all are children of God. And this is also in conjunction with what our scriptures say. Today is also Gita Jayanti, so I'm going to weave Bhagavad Gita also throughout. Krishna says, Aham bija pradapita, I am the seed-giving father of everything in existence. So many people think that Jesus was about healing the sick, about fulfilling our material desires, that Christmas is about giving presents. Actually, in the Bible, directly, it is stated that this idea of cutting a tree and keeping it in your home and doing all of that is actually against the teachings of the Bible. So somehow the pagan ritual has been incorporated within Christianity, but it is actually not. It is frowned upon within the Bible.
That's where you think it stems from?
Personally, Sudevi asked me to tell you what I think it stems from.
I like it.
What did they used to do traditionally? They would offer lamps. Now we have Christmas lights, but traditionally it was lamps. And they would put lamps around. And they would sing. And they would dance around the tree. And they would basically circumambulate. And the idea is that at the base of this tree, all desires are fulfilled. So, hence Santa Claus now comes, puts presents under your tree, and all of your desires are fulfilled. What do we know of in our path of bhakti that has a very similar kind of connotation? What do we know? Tulasi Krishna Preyasi Namo Namo Radha Krishna Seva Pavo E Abhilashi. All desires are fulfilled at her base, because her base is Chintamani, non-different from Vrindavan. And Chintamani means all desires are fulfilled. Chintamani Prakarasanmasu Kalpa Vriksha. In Vrindavan, every tree is a wish-fulfilling tree. Whatever desire you have. As we say, Bancha Kalpatarubhyascha. All Vaishnavas are also like this. The pure Vaishnava, they can fulfill any desire. In Vrindavan, the dust, Giriraj Maharaj, all of the divine transcendental personalities, every cow is Kamadenu, can also fulfill any desire. All trees are also Kalpavriksh, they can fulfill any desire. So we dance around Tulsi Devi, we do parikrama of Tulsi Devi, and we understand that at her base, all desires are fulfilled. Really, what desires? Radha Krishna Seva Pavo E Abhilashi. My only desire is to serve the lotus feet of Shri Radha and Krishna. And what do? They offer lamps, and they put lamps at her base. So this is my own personal connection. So don't take it as tattva. Generally, I don't share these things if it's not established truth. But we do know that Tulsi worship is established truth for all time. Even from the time of Sri Ramachandra, he says, he gives the instruction, you should worship and do parikrama of Tulsi Devi. So, worshipping Tulsi is not a new thing. This has been going on forever. So all personalities you see in all of our shastras, all are worshipping Tulsi Devi. And it has somehow been incorporated, but as a Christmas, so everyone comes together and gives presents. But really, what is it about? It's not about us enjoying and feeding each other's enjoyments and egos. Really, it is about honoring the appearance of this divine personality in this world. The one we know as Jesus Christ. What did he come to give? And what did he not come to give? Sudevi, can you please come and share that?
What?
Can you share what he came to not give? He came to give or to awaken love of God as our priority.
He says that I have not descended to bring peace on earth.
Wait. But I thought he came to bring peace on earth.
What did you want me to say?
That. He said, I have not come to bring peace on earth.
Isn't that what I said?
Yes. Keep telling it, please.
I have not come to bring peace on earth. Rather, I have come with the sword in hand to separate mother from daughter, son from father, brother from brother, like this. And he says that those who consider basically their material attachments more than him are not worthy of being his disciples. And then he's going on and he's walking and someone says to him, oh, my Lord, I want to follow you, but first I have to bury my father. And he says, let the dead bury their dead. You come now, come now. So Jesus wasn't, so many times you have pictures of him, yes, as a shepherd with sweet little sheep and holding on to all the sweet little people and children and this and that and healing people. But actually he has come to give Sanatana Dharma, what is the eternal nature and religion of the soul, and how to have a one-pointed nature to one supreme personality. And maybe over thousands of years it's become diluted or changed or mixed, but yet if you go to its core you will find the same message that is in all of our scriptures. Maybe not as personal. Maybe we don't hear about the personal aspect of God, of Krishna, but we do hear about the one-pointed nature to one supreme Lord. So it's very important. Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur very much appreciated Christianity and Catholicism over Hinduism.
Pantheism.
Because of so many gods, 33 million demigods, and whatever you want, you chant a mantra to this god or that god, and everyone is equal. And he really appreciated the mood that they had in a one supreme personality. So much is actually there to connect us. One time we did a program at a monastery, and at this monastery they said there was, all these priests and all these preachers there. And we did the program, and at the end they said, so many times we hear people trying to talk about the differences. And he said, I only heard similarities in your speech. And he said, but one thing, the intimacy of the relationship that you speak about with God has given us pause, has given us something to think about. And we thought that was so beautiful, because really, if anyone is preaching the truth, then real religion, you will find them all to have some very deep core similarities. So anyway, I love that passage. I have not descended to bring peace on earth. I have come to cut your material attachments. It reminds me of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur saying that the sadhu is standing there with the upraised sword, and the materialistic mentalities and desires of men, he says, but basically of all of us, are like that sacrificial goat. And the sadhu stands there with the upraised sword ready to cut basically all of those attachments away, meaning that they cut it by giving the truth. And this is what Jesus was coming to give, getting rid of all of the perversions inside of the synagogues, inside of the temples, all of the money, all of the cheating, all of these things. He was tossing them aside. This is the house of God. So
he was doing the work of the Acharya.
Yes.
Srila Prabhupada, thank you, Sudevi. Srila Prabhupada, he also acknowledges that Krishna doesn't only come as himself to clean up the nonsense of this world, but he also manifests as the Acharya, that personality who silences all others. And those personalities, they speak the truth no matter what, even if It means that they must give up their life to represent the truth. And he showed this in his own life, in his own teachings, in his own example. In this connection, Srila Prabhupada, he said, Jesus Christ was such a great personality, the Son of God, the representative of God. He had no fault. Still, he was crucified. He wanted to deliver God consciousness, but in return, they crucified him. They were so thankless. They could not appreciate his preaching. But we appreciate him and give him all honor as the representative of God. Certainly, he is the representative of God. Therefore, we adore Lord Jesus Christ and offer our obeisance to him. This is found in Science of Self-Realization, Chapter 4. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur appreciated him. Our Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur, as Sudevi said, he appreciated him. So he appreciated Christianity because of their focus on one supreme God. And I remember, did you talk about Fiji?
No.
Okay, so many years back, when we were living in the Fiji Islands, according to Srila Gurudev's instruction, actually it was just after that. But we would still visit periodically, and we would do preaching programs there. And one of the people who came to the program, we didn't know that he was a Christian. And he was a good friend of the devotee who was running the center. So he just came there to visit for a couple days, and we gave our program, speaking about...
It was Durga Puja time.
Was it?
And remember they wanted us to sing Durga songs.
Right, it was Durga Puja time, and the locals wanted us to sing different bhajans for so many different things, and we would only sing for Krishna. And then we gave a strong class establishing glorification of one supreme personality, one supreme God. So that Christian person, an Indian-bodied Christian person, we didn't know he was Christian, was sitting there listening very carefully. And then afterward he said, I really appreciated, that you were speaking about worshiping one supreme God. He said, you should tell them. And he wanted us to engage us to tell people about worshiping one supreme God. And then later on our way to India, we stopped in New Zealand. That man had been visiting from New Zealand, and we did a program in the house of the daughter and son-in-law of that devotee who was managing the center. And that Christian family person found out, and he invited all of his friends to come. So we had 5 Gaudiya Vaishnava devotees and 10 or 15 Christian people in the program. And we spoke on Bhajahuremana Sri Nandanandana and just generally speaking on the subject of pure bhakti and glorifying Krishna. And at the end, they all came forward with little bags. We don't know, just little bags. And it had money in it. And we were like, would you like a CD? And they said, we won't listen to the CD, but you are doing God's work. You're missionaries, so we want to assist you in your seva. And at that moment, we had actually completely liquidated every penny down to 50 cents on our tickets, and we had nothing left, no donation for Gurudev or anything. But after that program, when we arrived in Vrindavan, we were able to give Gurudev 600 New Zealand dollars, just like that. And it was quite amazing. Anyhow, they appreciated that Gaudiya Vaishnavism was preaching one-pointed, exclusive devotion to one supreme form of the Lord. So I just wanted to share that. Another interesting thing about Jesus, we know in his younger life, he was known as Jesus of Nazareth. It means he was known according to the place or the location where he lived. Right? He was of that place. He was of his family. But after receiving, I'm going to use the word diksha. There's a reason for it. Because after he was initiated by John the Baptist, at that time, he became known as being born again. And where do we know about this born again? Dvija, Brahmins, after receiving their Diksha mantras, are known as twice born. They're born again. This is what happens to all devotees who receive initiation from Sri Guru. I remember when Gurudev gave me Diksha, he said, "You are no longer of this world." He said, "Now your Gotra, means your family name, instead of Stein, which means stone, like my heart," he said, "your family name means your lineage, your Gotra is Achyuta Gotra." Achyuta means Krishna. And I was like, he just changed my family lineage. Before I was of this world, of the stone clan, and now I'm of God. And then immediately when he told me that, I remembered in that moment, 1996, 26th of October, I remembered Jesus. Even though I was born and raised as a Hare Krishna and didn't have so much, but I thought about it. It's like, he was bathed. He was baptized, in essence. And after that, he was no longer known as Jesus of Nazareth. He became known as Jesus Christo, Jesus Christ. They say that Christ means the anointed one. But Christ also has its etymology. If you follow it back in Srila Gurudev Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Oh, thank you, Jiva Pavana Prabhu, for sharing that. It's there in Matthew 10:34-36. "Do not think I have come to bring peace on earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword." Did you know that Jesus said this?
Did I get it pretty close?
Yes, you did. "For I have come to set man against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a person's enemies will be those of his own household." Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada spoke almost exactly these same words. He said, "Who is your enemy? Those persons who are binding you with material attachments to this world, especially your own family, your own mind." He said, this is our enemy. Those who are binding us, telling us, this world is the place for your enjoyment. You are meant to be loved and to take everyone's attention to yourself. So he's come to cut those misunderstandings and engage us in loving service to the Lord. Wow, that's pretty intense. They don't represent him like that. I don't think most people could handle it. They represent him as being, with the bunnies and the sheep and all the little babies. And of course, that's also a reality. But he was preaching very powerful Sanatana Dharma. So I was speaking about the etymology of this name, Christ, or Christo. If you follow it back, because even, so many of you are in Europe, from the Spanish perspective, it must sound really weird when we say Christ. Or from the Italian perspective, it must sound very strange when we say Christ. You say Jesucristo, like that. So, Cristo, when you follow that back further, there's Christ. And you follow that back further, Krishna or Christ, like that. So, Srila Gurudev Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja, as well as others, have also given this confirmation that usually this name which follows your first name represents the family that you belong to. That's what a last name is. I belong to this family. I am the son of such and such. I belong to this village. This is my clan. So I was of the stone clan. Then I became of Gurudev and Krishna's clan. This is what the last name represents. So suddenly he's changed from Nazareth to Christo. Jesus of Christ. He is of God. This is Diksha. This is the rebirth. Srila Gurudev Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja gave a Christmas message. Today is Christmas Day, the birth of Jesus Christ. In Europe and other countries, hardly anyone knows that Jesus was what he was doing in his youth. There's a whole section of his life that's just missing. It's not there. But there's historical evidence that he was personally on a quest for enlightenment himself. And at that time, he came searching, and he came to India and many places. In Puri, in the north, in the Himalayas, so many places throughout India.
They even claim his tomb is here.
Indian history shows that he was in India, where he visited Vrindavan, Ayodhya, Jagannath Puri, and other places of pilgrimage. In Vrindavan, he heard the name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And when he went to Puri, he heard how the local persons pronounce Krishna as Krishna. And in his language, it became Krista and then Christ, or Christo. And then it changes to Christ. The change in name is actually only a difference in language. When Jesus returned to Galilee from India, he preached the same devotion he had learned here. By his mercy, his followers preached the mission of God everywhere, and it was therefore gradually distributed in Western countries. There are not many gods. There is only one. In the Bible, it has been written, God created man after his own image. And remember, I would hear Gurudev say that so many times. And then he would even quote it from the Quran. There's a phrase, which I don't know how, I just, Ne suratahi, something like that. But the way he was speaking it, and in so many scriptures, it says the same thing. And Gurudev would say, imis. The God created man after his own image. If the Supreme Lord God has no form, then how can he create so many worlds in so many forms? We just discussed this yesterday. God has form. He has all qualities. Christ, or Christ, Christ means Krishna, the one without a second, the Supreme Lord. That means that he is the Supreme Lord. There is no one that is equal to him. Not that he's too busy. In the Bible, we see that God has a transcendental form. Jesus has called him Father, so there is some relation. We are refined Christians because we totally follow this understanding. Many of those who call themselves Christians don't truly follow Christianity because they say that God is formless. But the Bible actually tells that God has form, and that form is transcendental. Today, on the birthday of Jesus, we are giving honor to him. He was a manifestation of God called Shakti-avesh Avatar. He is a personality who is infused with a special potency to be able to do amazing things. Srila Bhaktivedānta Sridhar Mahārāja said that about our Srila Prabhupada, that he's like he is Shakti-avesh of Nityananda Prabhu. And Nityananda Prabhu has fully infused him with this potency and mercy to distribute Krishna to the entire world in such a short time. Amazing. Shakti-avesh means he's infused with that Shakti, that potency. So Srila Gurudev here is saying that Jesus is Shakti-avesh Avatar of God. God has empowered him, and that is why he was able to preach everywhere. Krishna is very merciful, very, very merciful. He is so beautiful. His qualities are transcendental, and the song of his flute is so sweet that it attracts everyone. We have forgotten him. We are his part and parcel. That is, we are his servants or maidservants, whether we accept it or not. We have forgotten him, and that is why Maya has taken us to this world. So this is an excerpt from a darshan of Srila Gurudev that he gave in Hawaii on Christmas in 2006. So Jesus himself was preaching about love of God. According to time, place, and circumstance, so many things had to be told at that time. He was also doing the work of Acharya. What do we see that our Acharyas have done? One after another. They have cut all misconceptions. They fought it, even at the expense of the safety of their own life, to give the truth. All of the perversions, all of the twistings, all of the changes, all kinds of nonsense which was being put forth by those who were greedy for Kanaka, Kamani, and Pratishtha. Those who wanted to use the name of God for increasing their wealth, for increasing their sense gratification, and for increasing their name, fame, position, power. They were twisting, adulterating, and making so many changes. And Jesus came in and said, no way. And he fought very, very strongly against it. And because he was preaching truth, and because he was infused with the power of the Lord to be able to bring the message of God, of love of God, that was his main point. Love God with all of your heart. All of the other stuff is supplementary to that. That was his main point. Love God with all of your heart. And he was even teaching how. Only through the spiritual master. You can't just go anywhere. You can only attain that by taking shelter of that person who is near and dear to the Lord. So he said through him, you can attain to the Lord. But if you try to go on your own, it's not possible. So the teachings of Jesus, of Jesus Christo, Jesus of God, of Krishna, Gurudev is saying, are in essence the same as our Gaudiya Vaishnava, well, not exactly Gaudiya Vaishnava, but Sanatana Dharma teachings. They're in essence the same, preaching about one supreme God, and all others are his servants. Our nature is to love and serve God. And according to time, place, and circumstance, he had to give so many other teachings and instructions. But you always see with those who are more evolved spiritually, even they might be in so many different paths, but they understand each other. They resonate. Where we might have so much differences with so many others based on our personal situation, those divine personalities see everything according to how it really is. With equal vision, they understand everything. They see it in truth and they understand. So they're able to also recognize each other. They're able to recognize each other's progress as well. So we see how our Guru Varga is recognizing. They are recognizing from a place of knowledge because they also properly and fully follow, as Gurudev said, refined following the essence of the teachings that Jesus of Jesus Christo was giving. So today, wow, Jiva Pavana Prabhu is posting some good stuff. Someone's posting that they've got a cure for HIV and everything else in there.
Then they wouldn't be on my thread trying to...
Yeah, it's on yours because they posted on your thread.
Well, if they had a cure, they'd be really rich.
There's only one cure for all diseases. And that is to awaken from our mundane misconceptions that I am this body, I am of this place, this is mine, aham mameti, I and mine, related to this world. One cure for all diseases is to take shelter of the holy names of the Lord. Interestingly, when you look in the Bible, what is the process? They're saying, hallelujah, glorify the names of the Lord. Hallowed be thy name. So much emphasis is given to the name. And also it talks about having musical instruments and singing together in the streets. Like Harinam, Sankirtan. All of these similarities are there. So many that you cannot deny them. Even in the Revelations, it talks about God manifesting on a white horse with a sword to kill all of the evil warmongers. We have that also. Kalki Avatar is mentioned in our scriptures. So many similarities are there. And it's easy to find a few of the differences. So the one that we generally hear is, why do you worship, Idols. Idolatry is banned. So the doctors of the faith of Christianity have explained what idolatry really is.
Saint John of the Cross.
Saint John of the Cross. How do you say his name in Spanish? Because he's actually from Spain.
He's from Avila, where Teresa of Avila is from.
Okay, so he's from the same place that Teresa of Avila is from. Avila. He's from that place.
Mm-hmm.
So they, I think, were each other's confessors. So can you come and tell?
I'm just telling you the relationship. She was.
No, you tell, because you're the one who did this research.
She mentored him, and then because they were so like-minded, when he became older, he became her confessor so that they could speak about spiritual topics. Saint John of the Cross, in not the Success of Faith, in the Dark Night of the Soul, he's speaking about faith, and then he speaks about all these different aspects of Lord Jesus Christ's teachings. And one of them, he talks about what is a false idol. And he doesn't actually talk about like takorji or even a cow, like a golden cow we hear. He says that anything that we have attachment to other than the lotus feet of the Lord, other than God, then we are putting that on equal level with God, and that is a false idol. So he said whether it's material, like clothes, like attachment to house and to family, whether it's to idolizing actors and actresses and singers, whatever it may be, he's saying if we have attachment to anything other than God, then that is our false idol, because we are giving our love, our devotion, our attachment, and our energy to that.
Wow.
So St. John of the Cross was very, very clear about what is really a false idol. We might put it on gold and say, okay, a golden cow, but it's actually the substance, the gold, the materialistic tendencies that he is calling the false idol. Anything that we have attachment to, he says we're putting it equal with God, and that is a false idol.
Thank you. It's powerful to hear from their own doctors of the faith what these things mean. Because if we just read it, same with our scriptures, if we just read it ourselves without going to those persons who are actually seers of the truth and who understand it deeply, we may misunderstand it. We will tend to superimpose some particular meaning onto something without actually understanding the deeper meaning, which really applies to us. Oh, I'm doing that. We like to look, oh, you're doing that bad thing over there. Well, I'm idolizing the rock stars and the movie stars and the, whoever, my favorite singer, and my giving more attention to my boyfriend or girlfriend or whoever than to God. Then I'm putting them in that position of idol. Śrīla Bhakti, who was it? Oh, one of our Gurudevs. It was our Param Gurudev, Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja. They actually had this discussion with him as well. And he spoke that you are placing your Bible in that position. And then you are superimposing that God is a ray of light coming through a cloud. This is your mental concoction. So you're creating a false image of God because you're doing it of your mind. You are not doing it according to Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. And then he was establishing Archa Vigraha. Archa Vigraha means a worshipable form of the Lord, the deity form of the Lord. And he was explaining that according to all revealed scripture, the form of the Lord appears like this. And if it was because the pure devotee is calling Krishna, the Supreme Lord, to be present there to receive our love and affection and our honor and worship, then we cannot consider Archa Vigraha idol worship or idolatry. Whereas if someone is creating some sentimental concoction within their mind, he said this false image. This can be known as idolatry. So I'm not exactly sure where you will find that, probably within his biography, Acharya Keshari. I specifically remember reading that some years back. Wow, 20 years back. So,
You're old.
I'm getting old. So on this day, the day of Jesus Christ, Jesus Cristo, we see how he gave his own life in service to the Lord and for the benefit of all. For the benefit of all, he gave his life. What kind of conviction, what kind of nishta. And even when they put him on the cross, they didn't put him on the cross. They whipped him bitterly first, made a show to everyone, like they did with Haridas Thakur, whipped him bitterly. Then they actually nailed his hands and feet to the cross and put him up there and left him to leave this world. And at that time, what was he saying?
Forgive them, Lord, for they know not what
Come out, please, and tell them.
He just said, forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do. Srila Govinda Goswāmī Mahārāja, in this connection, he said, it's making me cry, it's so sad, that only the pure devotees, only the Vaishnavas have this kind of affection and weep for the suffering of the jivas. When Sri Haridas Thakur was being beaten in 22 marketplaces, what was he doing? Even the two who were beating him were astonished. Why is he looking back at us with so much compassion? Sri Haridas Thakur was thinking, they don't understand what they're doing. Please forgive them. So Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj said, only the sadhu's heart bleeds for us like this.
Even they were torturing him and endeavoring to kill him and nailing him physically to a cross and leaving him to die. And he's praying to God on their behalf. Prahlad Maharaj also did this. What did he say? When Narasimhadev Bhagavan asked him, what would you like?
Let me take the sins of everyone.
He said, I'm not a merchant. I don't need anything from you. But he said, no, you have to take something. Okay, then let my father, although he was the most evil person ever, give him liberation. It's already done. 21 generations are already liberated. Take something else. He said, okay. Let the sins of everyone in this universe come to me and let me suffer for those, but give all of them liberation. This is the nature of that, the pure devotee. Their hearts bleed upon seeing the suffering of the jivas of this world, and they petition on our behalf. Forgive them. They don't understand what they're doing. So he was petitioning the Lord profusely on the behalf of those persons who were trying to hurt him and trying to kill him. Because this is the nature of those soft-hearted, selfless, pure servants of the Lord.
I just wanted to say you have about a half an hour to speak
Okay.
more. But one thing I just wanted to add, because I asked Kishori to tell his own maybe meditation of what is Christmas and the Christmas tree. And I always think that there, you know how we hear in Vedic culture, on your person's birthday you give in charity. And since coming to Gurudev and hearing this, how Vasudev Maharaj, he couldn't give by body because he was in the jail cell, but by mind he gave millions of cows with pearls, and their horns were dipped in gold, and like all this beautiful meditation, but he was giving in charity, and how Nanda Baba and all the Brajavasis were giving in charity. So my meditation also for Christmas isn't like this mundane, oh, get gifts and give gifts. But if this is the day that we are remembering a pure... Sorry, it stopped for a moment. If this is the day that we are doing such a thing, then we can do it with that kind of consciousness. This is the day of a pure devotee of the Lord, and he brought this one-pointed kind of theism to all of us, this really powerful message of Sanatan Dharma. And so he is really my guru. So on this day, on the day of my person, Jesus Christ, I'm giving these gifts in honor of that. Because we can see everything mundane, or we can just change our minds slightly, and everything can be favorable for bhakti. But Gita Jayanti is...
Okay. Oh, there it is. So, Lord Jesus Christ, ki jai. Lord Jesus Cristo, ki jai. So today is also Gita Jayanti, and it's also Ekadashi. We speak about Ekadashi every time. Madhavatiki Bhakti Janani Jatane Palana Kori Krishna Vasati Vasati Bori Parama Adare Bori. On these days, like Janmashtami and Ekadashi, which is even more merciful than Janmashtami because it comes every 2 weeks as a reminder, an alarm clock. How much have you endeavored to give of your energy to increase in your devotion to Krishna in the last 2 weeks? And if we endeavor and follow and honor this day, Ekadashi, then Bhakti Janani. Bhakti is increased. Bhakti is born, like born again, more and more within our hearts for Krishna. So Jatane Palana Kori, very carefully we should honor this day just as we would honor Krishna himself. Because Ekadashi is a manifestation of Krishna out of compassion and mercy for the jivas, the suffering jivas. That means all of us. We need help. So he has manifested Ekadashi for this purpose. So if we take advantage of this opportunity, not for any material purpose, also so many material benedictions can come as a result of observing Ekadashi, but we don't want to approach any of these aspects of Krishna for any material reason, otherwise it won't be considered pure bhakti. We should approach Ekadashi Devi for her mercy. And what is that mercy? May bhakti, may love and affection for Krishna rapidly grow within my heart. So, Madhav Titi Ekadashi Ki Jai. Oh, by the way, this morning I did Parikrama of Vrindavan, and I couldn't help myself. I was only going myself. It was quite cold. My legs froze right up to my knees. I was going barefoot. But anyhow, I remembered all of you, because normally when we would go out, we would always film and say, we're doing this on your behalf. So I was remembering today is Christmas, today is Gita Jayanti, today is Ekadashi, and we have our whole crew. You're not watching it, but still you were with me. So I was also offering the benefit of my Vrindavan Parikrama to all of you who are participating in these daily programs. So we don't have much time for speaking about Bhagavad Gita. Yesterday we were speaking some things, and every day we do quote some verses from Bhagavad Gita. But Bhagavad Gita is foundational for us. If we have a foundation in Bhagavad Gita, we will understand so many tattvas, or foundational, essential truths, established truths, unshakable, unbreakable truths. The context of Bhagavad Gita is quite interesting. From the 4 Vedas manifested so many supplementary scriptures. Ved-Vyas manifested these supplementary scriptures so that persons like us would be able to easily understand. Vedas are quite cryptic. They're very heavily encoded, and those who understand those codes can reveal their true meanings. But so many misinterpret those codes, and it can become quite opposite or dangerous as well. In fact, in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, there it is said that the Vedas are like a vast ocean full of so many dangerous creatures, and if you don't know what you're doing or how to navigate, you can also become quite lost. So, Ved-Vyas manifested Mahabharat. Mahabharat means Great Bharat. It's now referred to as the Great War. The Great War that took place between those who are on the side of Dharma, or following proper etiquette according to Shastra, and those who are doing all kinds of nefarious activities. Sometimes in the name of Dharma, but also doing things which were just very inappropriate. So generally, when there's a very big divide between those who are dharmic and those who are adharmic, then Krishna himself appears in this world. So what is the history of this? There was one family. This family is known as the Kurus. And within this family, there were two sections. One became known as the Pandavas, or the sons of Pandu, and the others became known as the Kauravas, and they were the sons of Dhritarashtra. And basically, there was competition between both. Yudhishthira Maharaj was due to receive the rulership of the world, but the Kauravas were quite jealous. They were quite envious. They were cousins, and they wanted to take over. So basically, due to so many cheating tactics, especially playing dice, playing games which demanded wagers, Yudhishthira Maharaj was not so good at it, but because he was a Kshatriya, he was duty-bound to play. And Duryodhana engaged someone named Shakuni. Shakuni was his uncle, but also very crafty. So he knew how to cheat in these games, and by this, Duryodhana was able to win. And because Yudhishthira Maharaj was so honest and simple and straightforward, and they were not honest or simple or straightforward, but quite complicated, they were able to manipulate and cheat, and basically cheated Yudhishthira Maharaj out of everything. His kingdom, everything. And it came to such a point where even Duryodhana made Yudhishthira Maharaj that he was nothing but a servant. And he said, well, if you're a servant, then your brothers are also my servants, and so is your wife. And so Duryodhana slapped his thigh and wanted Draupadi to come and sit on his thigh in public, although she was the very faithful wife of these 5 Pandavas. There's a whole history behind it. So one great adharmic act after another was taking place. And because of this, there needed to be a balance. There needed to be a balance. So what does Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita? Where there is a predominant rise in irreligion and dharma itself is being repressed or depressed. He says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam shrajamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma sangstarpanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. When does the Lord appear in this world? Yada yada. Whenever hi dharmasya glanir. When there is a decline in religious practice. Means when it becomes quite debased. And abhyutanam adharmasya. When irreligion becomes prominent or predominant. Tadatmanam shrajamyaham. At that time, I manifest, I descend myself. And then what does he say? Paritranaya sadhunam. To protect the devotees. Vinashaya cha dushkritam. To destroy those who are dushkrit. Means very wicked. Demonic. Dharma sangstarpanartaya. And to re-establish the principles of religion or dharma or proper good behavior by which society flourishes and all will be peaceful and happy. Sambhavami, I manifest myself, yuge, yuge, from yuga to yuga, millennium to millennium. So Krishna tells this in Bhagavad Gita. So at that time, there was so much irreligion. Krishna manifested when? When Kamsa Maharaj had taken Vasudeva and Devaki hostage, kept them in jail, and was literally killing one child after another, because he was afraid of the 8th child of Devaki, which was predicted to kill him. So this Vasudeva Krishna appeared to them and then entered into Nanda Nanda's Krishna, and then again came out when the time was right to take care of business. And he did. So, Bhagavad Gita is contained within Mahabharata. Mahabharata is said to be made so that persons who aren't able to calculate the depths of the codes within the Vedas, they're able to easily understand it. And pretty much because in Kali Yuga, Kalo Shudra Sambhava, all are considered Shudras, then it is very difficult to understand such high, complex, philosophical things for everyone. Because in Kali Yuga, Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Hupadrita means we have less intelligence, we have shorter lives, we're unlucky and misguided and all of that. This is Bhagavatam telling about Kali Yuga and the nature of Kali Yuga. So for the benefit of all, Ved Vyas gave Mahabharata. And within Bhishma Parva of Mahabharata, section called Bhishma Parva, there you find the 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. And Bhagavad Gita means, Bhagavad means of God, and Gita means song. So it means the song of God. So what is the situation? Two massive armies lined up, ready to fight. The Kauravas and all of their supporters, and the Pandavas and all of their supporters. Does anyone know how many people were there? How many warriors?
18 million.
18 million? This was a massive battle about to take place.
Wasn't it 18 million? Or
Please?
How many were killed in one day?
No, that's not how many were killed in one day. Please, if anyone knows the exact number of soldiers who were on the battlefield at the time, please send it. Because now I'm thinking 18 million, but maybe it was 16. So anyhow, it was millions. Lots and lots. And on the one side were the Kauravas, on the other side were the Pandavas. But what did Arjuna see? Now we should understand that Arjuna, he's Krishna's near and dear friend. And he understands everything. He knows that Krishna is God. He's a pure devotee. But in order to teach the world, Krishna inspired within Arjuna to manifest some doubt. So we should not think that Arjuna is really doubting or anything. But anyhow, by Krishna's will, Arjuna manifested some doubt. And by this doubt, Krishna was able to manifest this song of God, Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna was the charioteer of Arjuna. But all at that time understood that he is also the Lord. So, being the charioteer of Arjuna, how sweet is that? He took that subservient position for his devotee. So Arjuna began to become a little bit doubtful. Whoa, wait a second. I'm looking at the other side over there. I see Dronacharya. He's my guru, the teacher of our martial arts. I see Bhishma Dev, my grandfather. I see all my cousins. Not only that, because Kshatriyas must perform their duty, Duryodhana was able to secure, basically, whatever side Krishna was on, the other side, all of Krishna's own armies would be on. So who was fighting on the other side? All of Krishna's devotees. His own military, his own army was fighting on the side of the Kauravas. And Krishna was the charioteer on the side of the Pandavas.
Just in case, you should tell everybody why they were, because
This is an interesting story.
yeah, I think it's an important.
Very important. So, Duryodhana and Arjuna both went to see Krishna to request something of him. And Krishna had made a declaration, whoever I see first when I wake up, I'll give you what you want. So Duryodhana decided to sit right next to Krishna's head, so Krishna would see him first. And Arjuna decided to sit at Krishna's feet. Who got it first?
Duryodhana.
So when and basically it was Krishna said that I won't fight, but I will be on the side of whoever. Basically it would be me or my armies.
What happened was he saw Duryodhana first, and then he saw Arjuna at his feet. And he knew that they both came to ask him to be on their side, because they knew if they had Krishna, they would win. So Krishna said, well, I saw Duryodhana first, so I'll let you choose. You can have me, but I won't fight.
Or my armies.
Or you can have my entire army, and they'll fight.
Mind you, Krishna's armies were massive.
Immediately Duryodhana thought, oh my God, I take the army. And within his heart, Arjuna was so happy. Yes, I'll take Krishna. I'll have Krishna.
And we see that from Bhagavad Gita, whatever side Krishna is on will always be victorious. So, Arjuna began expressing doubts. What doubts? All my family is there, my friends, so many of my respected elders. It's all my family. How am I going to kill them? How am I going to fight? I think it's better I don't. And he was becoming literally shaking in the knees. He's dropping his bow.
Sundar Gopal called it the mother of all panic attacks.
The mother of all panic attacks. Arjuna was manifesting this on the battlefield. What did Krishna say to him? How has this weakness come upon you? You're supposed to be one of the greatest warriors of all time?
What is wrong?
You're a Kshatriya. How can you give up your duty and go to the forest and pretend to be like a Tyagi? Krishna was quite strong with him. Srila Bhaktivedānta Bharati Mahārāja said that Krishna said something to the effect of, your mother has made a Kshatriya, but you are not behaving appropriately. In other words, saying that she's more powerful than you. Even though she cannot fight on the battlefield, still, she's more than you. So Krishna was very strong with Arjuna. He said, how can you even think like this? You have only known honor for your whole life. But if you do not fight, if you give this up, if you show this weakness, for one who has known honor, dishonor is worse than death. The Krishna was very strong with Arjuna, but Arjuna was he said, my mind is reeling, and I've lost all composure due to weakness. Krishna had brought the chariot in between both so Arjuna could see what's going on. And then in that time, while they were waiting to fight, basically everything was happening there, within half an hour, Krishna sung this beautiful Bhagavad Gita. And in there, it's got all information for all kinds and classes of persons. Anyone who looks toward Bhagavad Gita can receive something of benefit for themselves from wherever they are in their own lives. So, within Bhagavad Gita, Krishna first needed to establish so many things to Arjuna. He was establishing tattvas. What are tattvas? Essential, foundational, basic truths. So how did Krishna convince Arjuna that he should fight? He started in so many different ways. But first he was saying, actually, everything is already going on according to my will. Everything has already happened. It's already in place. You just need to work as my instrument. And so how did Krishna convince Arjuna of this basic principle? Actually, no one ever dies. The body is temporary, but the soul is eternal. Mamaivamsho jiva loki jiva bhuta sanatana. Just like me, all jivas are eternal, and the bodies come and go. Like changing one's clothes. One day you think, I want to wear purple, and I want it long like this, and I want a collar, and I want it to look a certain way. And the next day, I want black with stripes. I want to look like this. So in the same way that we choose our clothes, and then we discard the ones that are already used, wash them or get rid of them. In the same way, according to our desires, we choose different. Well, we choose by our desires what we are going to wear in our next life. And that is what body we will take. And again we quote it, but Krishna says, according to your desires, according to your consciousness, according to your attachments, you will attain that. Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam tyajantyante kalevaram. At the time of death, what you have absorbed, your energy, your mind, your consciousness, and everything in, you will certainly attain to that. So Krishna spoke so much about jiva tattva. He says the soul is eternal, it cannot die. Najayate, it is not born. Mriyate, it cannot die. Vakadachin nayam bhutva bhavitbhana bhuya ajo nityam shashvato yam purano nahanyate hanyamane sharire. The last line says, it is not slain, it does not die when the body dies. And he says, those persons who are actually of equal vision, who are intelligent, who are knowers of truth, Dehinos minyata dehe komaram yovanam jarat ta dehantara prapya dhiras tatra namuhyati, who are sober-minded, who understand this principle. They are not disturbed by the change of bodies, just as most people aren't disturbed when the child is growing up toward at least middle age. And then from middle age, then it starts to dwindle, and then eventually dies, but the body is constantly changing. He said, like this, a sober person is not disturbed by these changes. So Krishna is telling Arjuna that all are souls, and everyone is living and dying according to their karmas, what is due to them in essence. Everyone is living and dying according to their karmas. Actually, it's already happened. Means it's already predetermined, it's predestined. It was meant to be like this, and you are just going to be my instrument. So, from this is Jiva Tattva. Krishna established foundational truths about the soul. The body is temporary. The soul is eternal. The soul cannot be cut, cannot be dried, cannot be withered by the wind, cannot be burnt. When everything else is removed, that part that remains as it is known as the imperishable soul. Krishna gave so much information to Arjuna. And then he began speaking about how he can learn the truth. I'm jumping around because we don't have much time. How one can learn the truth. If you want to know the truth, if you want to experience the truth, the real truth, then what should you do? Wow. Sudevi wants those points. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a tattva darshi. It has been translated as bona fide spiritual master. Srila Mahārāja explains what is tattva darshi. Darshi means one who is seeing, but in this case it means who is practically experiencing. These are the words of Srila Prabhupada. Practically experiencing. And then Srila Mahārāja said, practically experiencing their relationship with tattva. Who is tattva? Mahaprabhu tells Sanātana Gosvāmī, Advait Gyan Tattva, the supreme, non-dual, absolute truth is none other than Vraj Brajendra Nandan, the son of Nanda Mahārāja, Krishna in Vrindavan. So, just try to learn the truth. Because they have experience, they can awaken that experience in us. That vidhi, that knowledge. Pranipatena. If you don't know something, and you need to know it, then you must approach somebody who knows it. And to get it, you must express or offer to accept what instruction they're giving. This is called trust. I am trusting you. I am submitting to you. On my own, since time without beginning, I have not been able to extract myself from this material world. I have not figured it out until now. For trillions and trillions of lifetimes, I need help from beyond myself. So, I'm submitting to you. Pariprashna. Pariprashna means relevant inquiry. Questions, proper questions, which are relevant for our forward progress. This is pariprashna. Okay, I've come to this fork in the road. Now which way do I go, left or right? Even in Śrī Chaitanya Charitamrita, you see, don't go to the north, full of ghosts and spirits. Don't go to the west, it's a trap. All kinds of mundane desires. Don't go to the south, death is there. You should go to the east. Right? Which way do I go? I've come to this crossroads, which way to go? Now what do I do? And then, sevaya. Sevaya means to serve. But what is the most important service? To follow the instructions that are given. If you're just doing external services but not following the instructions, then it's not real service. How do you serve Gurudev? Gurudev gives instructions, you follow those instructions, and then as a natural effect of appreciation for what they have given, not only do you follow those instructions, but you also serve that personality. And by that, relationship develops. Dadati, Pratigunati, etc. That's the 4th verse of Upadeshamrita, nectar of instruction. So, Krishna tells Arjuna how this has descended. In the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna starts telling Arjuna about the knowledge that he's about to give him, he says, I first instructed this science. He calls it a science because real science is established, eternal, essential, unbreakable, forever truth. That is real science. It's not something that later on you go, wait a second, I was wrong, let me switch it, let me change it. That was just a theory, now let me give you something else. Real science is an established universal law that is always like that. So, he said, I first instructed this imperishable science, imperishable means it is always existing, to the sun god, Vivishwan. That's his name. And he instructed it to his son, and he instructed it to his, and then it went through parampara in a succession of receivers of that information. He said, but over time it became lost, just due to the effect of time. And now I again am instructing this same imperishable science to you, O Arjuna. So this is called parampara. And that's really how we receive transcendental knowledge. Not just by reading, not by speculating, not by gathering so much information, but by receiving from those who have received, from those who have received that imperishable knowledge, who have basically received that revelation in their heart by the mercy of their guru, Diksha Guru or Shiksha Guru. In any way, somehow that knowledge has descended. And so that is the process which Krishna has recommended. So Krishna spoke about the necessity for help beyond ourselves. If we try to do it on our own, it won't happen. He says that this material nature, made of goodness, passion, and ignorance, is playing upon us like any puppeteer is playing upon a doll. So we're moving according to karmas, sometimes in the mode of goodness, sometimes in the mode of passion, sometimes in the mode of ignorance. And Krishna says, Daivi Hyesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Durateya. These are my divine energies, and they are extremely difficult to overcome. Dura Atyaya, Mama Maya Durateya. Extremely difficult to overcome. It's his Maya, his own deluding potency. So how do you do it? He says, if you surrender unto me, Mam Evaye Prapadyante. If you surrender unto me, then Mayam Etan Tarantite. Then you can cross beyond my Maya. So how to surrender unto Krishna? This is actually the subject of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. But Bhagavad Gita brings you to that point of surrender. So Krishna then establishes, after establishing so much Jiva Tattva, he establishes Bhagavat Tattva. What is the nature of the soul versus the nature of God? God is the creator. Aham sarvasya prabhava. I am the source of everything. Matak sarvam pravartite. Everything is emanating from me. Matak parataram nanya. There is no truth superior to me. Mayi sarvam idam proktam sutre manigana iva. Everything is resting upon me like pearls are strung on a thread. I am the source of everything. So Krishna is establishing these points. and establishing his superiority. Yesterday we spoke about those who consider his form in this world to be a product of Maya. Krishna has those choice words. He says they are foolish. And he also says, prapadyante naradhama, the lowest among mankind. So Krishna establishes his supremacy. But then how does he fully establish his supremacy? To Arjuna. At a certain point, Krishna, to really clinch, excuse me, to establish his supremacy, to convince Arjuna, he manifested his universal form. So he's already told so many different things. He told about different processes of yoga. Well, you should meditate. Arjuna's like, how can I meditate? I'm on a battlefield. I'm just about to fight a war and kill my own family members. How can I meditate? He's telling them about jnana yoga, karma yoga, do good to others, give in charity. He's like, how does that apply to? But for others who are hearing it, it may apply to them. And they may be able to gradually progress from there. Jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, karma yoga, following the process of knowledge. General knowledge, then more superior knowledge, then deeper knowledge, then topmost secret knowledge. Rajavidyam rajaguhyam pavitram idamuttamam pratyakshavāgamam dharmam susukam kartum abhyayam. Well, this knowledge is the king of all knowledge. What is that? So Krishna is bringing him forward. Finally, after establishing the truth, then Krishna starts speaking about bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga means the process of loving devotion to him. So before that, he manifested to Arjuna what we know as the universal form. Vishva Rup, the universal form. And from that universal form, Arjuna saw everything that Krishna was telling him. He saw it practically. Krishna first gave him divine eyes. What is that? In order to see the form of the Lord, it's not up to us, but it's up to him. So he said, I now give you divine eyes. How are we going to see that transcendental personality with material eyes, full of material desire to lord it over the material nature? Only by receiving divine eyes, divyam jnanam, transcendental knowledge, and these divine eyes, then we can see this divine truth. So Arjuna saw everything. He saw the entire cosmos. He saw thousands and millions of forms of the Lord. What did he see? He also saw that all of these persons who are on the battlefield were being devoured by time. And Krishna was telling Arjuna, basically, I'm the best of everything. I am the highest. I am the topmost. I am the supreme. I am time. Time I am, destroyer of the worlds. That quote has become famous after the atom bomb was dropped. It became more famous because that was particularly quoted. Now I've become time, destroyer of worlds. So Krishna was speaking about that. He said, of beasts I am the lion. Of fish I am the shark. Of mountains I am the Himalayas. Of warriors I am Arjuna. Basically, everything is part of him. And Arjuna saw this massive form of the Lord, universal. And this struck fear in the heart of Arjuna and amazement at the same time. And Arjuna became very humbled. I am now a soul surrendered unto you.
Please remove this vision.
Please remove this very fearsome form. And Krishna tells him, if you want to see me as I am, only through loving devotion can you see me as I am. That was a very fearsome form. But Arjuna said, Shishyasteham, I am now a soul surrendered unto you. Now instruct me and I will do as you say. So all of our Guru Varga, they really focus on this point, that if you want to be able to progress, then you need to be able to submit. Submit means to voluntarily place ourselves in a position where discipline is inflicted upon us for our own good. Arjuna was so weak at that one in the beginning, and then Krishna gave him so much information, and then he fixed the deal, showed Arjuna that everything is already going on. He convinced him. Arjuna was so convinced, he took shelter. So also for us, we may not just instantaneously surrender to Guru. It is recommended that there be a period of time that one investigates. Guru will investigate us and see how sincere we are. And we will also investigate our Guru and see what is their nature. As Krishna said, how do they eat? How do they talk? How do they walk? How do they sleep? What is their nature? What is their practice? What can they do for me? How can they help me? And then we can surrender. Once one surrenders, then you say, I am now a soul surrendered to you. Do with me as you see fit for my benefit. Yes?
I just, a little bit of devil's advocate here.
Mm-hmm.
When people don't really understand Bhagavad Gita, a lot of times they think that it's sort of an excuse for religious violence. Everyone is already dead, they're bound to die, so don't worry about it. You're not the doer, I am. So how would you tell somebody about this and clear a doubt like that? Did that make sense?
So Sudevi brought up the point that many people, they might misconstrue or misunderstand the Bhagavad Gita to be a call for violence.
Like religious violence.
Religious warfare. And it is not exactly a call for that, but it is, in essence,
a religious war.
A religious war. That war was already set up. That was already going to be fought, and it was meant to be by the direct will of the Lord. It's not that some individual will go, oh, I think I need to fight a war, so let me go and start doing something. As I was speaking just now, a message popped up on my gadget here stating that some vehicle just blew up in Nashville, and so the bomb squad went to get it.
It's interesting because as you were just saying that, kind of an answer comes to me as well, is that when you were speaking about how Krishna was saying about Kunti, she gave birth to a Kshatriya. So actually, only those who are in a particular position as well, you know, it wasn't like everyone was on the battlefield. Those were actual warriors and Kshatriyas for the purpose of that as well. That's an aspect of it.
Yes, and it's good that Sudevi just said that because it reminded me. Krishna was speaking about those who have a particular nature.
Right.
It is their duty to follow that particular nature. And it is better to do your own duty, even if it's not perfect, than to perfectly do the duty of another. Does that make sense?
Yes.
If I am by nature a Kshatriya, and my duty as a Kshatriya is to fight that war for the good cause. For the good cause. Wars happen all the time. And some people might think, actually, they're not necessary. I can't believe war is going on. But I'll just give you a good example of how you, yourself, would fight a war. Every single one of us, we would. If someone came into your house and started literally murdering your family members, one after another, and you had the capacity to stop them before they got to the rest of them, would you try, or would you just let them do it?
I'd go for it.
Most of us would fight to protect those who were being murdered. And so many wars have started like this. This one did this bad thing, and then this one did this bad thing to that one, and then this family comes against this one, this family, then this village, this country, that country. It starts like that. It builds up. What do they call it? The Hatfields and the McCoys. I remember hearing about that when I was younger. Different parties come together with aggression toward each other. But we would naturally endeavor to defend. even if it might cost our own life or the life of that person that is committing these murders. So in essence, that is what was happening. The Kauravas actually tried to burn the Pandavas and their mother, Kunti, alive in the house of lac. They were creating so many difficulties for them, literally trying to kill them.
You may have to finish more tomorrow.
So Krishna told Arjuna, better to do your duty, even if it's not perfect, than to do someone else's perfectly. Why? Because if we are avoiding our own duty, then something's not getting done. Right? I might be able to go into the kitchen and cook and do so many things. I can cook, a little rich, but I can do that. But am I giving up what I should be doing? Maybe I'm supposed to be purchasing the vegetables, and maybe I'm supposed to be hanging the laundry or something else, but I'm doing another person's duty and avoiding my duty. Then something is missing. In this connection, Srila Gurudev told us something interesting. We used to travel with another devotee years ago, and that devotee stopped traveling, and we were concerned that we weren't able to continue our seva. Because Gurudev gave us this order, do this service, even when I'm no longer here in this world. So we were asking Srila Gurudev, so they've left, so is there anyone else we can travel with and support? Maybe we can travel with any of your sannyasis. And he said, why should I cut my preaching in half? He said, if you are there with someone else, then another group over here is going to miss out. Better you stay as your own group and let them have their own group, and then everyone will benefit more. So if we were to group with another person, then we would all be here, and then another village or another city would not be able to basically hear the message of Gurudev. So he said, why should I cut my preaching in half? In other words, he wanted us to do that duty and these sannyasis to do this duty. And if we were to avoid that, then something would be missing. So I was just thinking about this in terms of that, this story or connection with Srila Gurudev. So Krishna, after manifesting this form to Arjuna and telling him about everything, Arjuna was expressing some fear, and then Krishna tells him, only by undivided devotional service, devotion, love and affection, can I be understood as I am, standing before you, in my human-like form, in person, only by pure love and affection. And Krishna started speaking more, the topmost secret of all secrets. He brings it from all of the different possible paths that one can take. He's condensing, and finally brings it to the path of pure love and devotion. But only by love and devotion can I be known. And what is the nature of my devotees? Oh, always they're chanting my glories. They're always remembering me. They're always speaking about me, glorifying me. And by this they're experiencing more and more happiness, more and more pleasure. So I'm just going to end in a minute. So Krishna was telling Arjuna that if one surrenders unto me, then they will attain to me. They will attain to my abode. And once they come to me, they will never have to return again to this material world. And he was speaking about what is the nature of bhakti. So before he was telling Arjuna about all kinds of activities that he should do. You should do this, you should do that. Whatever you eat, whatever you offer, whatever you give away, you should do it as an offering unto me. But in the very end, Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja aham tvang sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. He tells Arjuna, give up all different kinds of dharmas of this world, your ideas of what is good and what is not good in all dharmas, and surrender exclusively unto me. Don't worry for the outcome. If you surrender exclusively unto me, then I will free you from all of the results of the karma that would come from not doing your duties. You have my word, he says, ma shuchaha. So many people take it to mean, okay, well, let me just give up my duties. I don't have to follow any dharma, and let me just be a debauch, and Krishna will protect me. No, Krishna says, mam ekam sharanam, exclusive one-pointed surrender. If that is a reality, then you don't have to maintain your other obligations like worshipping the forefathers and the demigods and doing all of these other things. If you are following the path of bhakti, exclusively serving and loving Krishna. But if one artificially gives that up and they're not surrendering to Krishna, then what is the result? That's the whole reason the Mahabharata war was fought in the first place. Due to unwanted population, Varna Shankara, due to lack of following proper etiquettes. And Krishna said, because women were unprotected, men were taking advantage of them. And as a result of this, so much unwanted population manifested in the world. Unwanted population means the children aren't raised in a mood of dharma. They're not raised with good qualities. And because of that, they create so many problems in the world as they grow up. They become problem makers, and we see it also in the world today. So many are very, very spoiled. People who are not engaged properly, then the idle mind becomes the devil's workshop. And as a result, there's so much difficulty and problems in this world. So really, Krishna was establishing again dharma in this world, but he still told Arjuna, Mam ekam sharanam vraja, then sarva dharma parityajya, all kinds of worldly dharmas. Just the worldly dharmas, then you give that up. But you can only give it up if you surrender exclusively unto me. But our Gaudiya Vaishnavacharyas don't accept this as the topmost verse of Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because Krishna is then offering a reprieve. I will free you. Moksha yashyami. I will liberate you. I will free you from the effects of giving up these dharmas if you surrender to me. So Krishna is giving something like this. This is almost like karma anavratam. Not anavratam. Karma mishra bhakti. Okay, I will surrender unto you if you free me from the karmas. Right? Krishna is offering something in return. So the Gaudiya Vaishnavacharyas are looking, and they're like, no, this is not the topmost. What is the topmost verse in Bhagavad Gita? Our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedānta, Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja has brought us to the verse which says, you are very dear to me. Pratijane priyosime. Who? Manmana, bhavamad bhakto, madhyaji, mam namaskuru, mame vaishyasi, satyam te pratijane priyosime. He said, this is the topmost of the moods, the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. What Krishna is telling Arjuna. Manmana, always absorb your mind in thinking of me. Absorb yourself in thinking of me. Bhavamad bhakto, become my devotee. Madhyaji, worship me. Mam namaskuru, offer your pranam to me. I say very strongly, Mame vaishyasi, satyam te, in truth. Those who do this, pratijane priyosime, they are very dear to me. So priya, this term, priya means dear, affection. So many other things, Krishna is not saying this will bring affection. But this he's saying, absorb your mind in thinking of me. Remember me. Worship me. Offer your pranam to me. Those persons who do such thing are very dear to me. Sudevi?
Yeah.
Will you tell that, what Gurudev said?
Kishori, it's really late.
What time is it?
We can continue tomorrow.
Oh, this is a
Kishori, we'll continue tomorrow.
it's a cliffhanger with a really good beginning tomorrow. oh man, I feel like terrible.
Oh, come on, it was beautiful.
Know that we're not able to finish this. It's
We
short.
can finish tomorrow.
Tomorrow. So, one thing is, Krishna tells Arjuna, I was speaking about Sarvadharma Parityaja, he says, Ma Shuchaha, you have my word. But we know that Krishna vowed that he would not take up any weapon on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. But Bhishma Dev made a vow also, that I will make Krishna break his vow. So Krishna had to break his vow. He jumped off the chariot because Bhishma was such a good archer. So many arrows were hitting Krishna and Arjuna and the chariots and the horses. And they became a bit flustered. Krishna jumped off the chariot, grabbed a chariot wheel from a broken chariot, and ran after Bhishma Dev with this chariot wheel. Bhishma Dev dropped his bow and thought, wow, Krishna just broke his promise for me. He put his arms out like this and basically said, I'm ready, come on. Krishna broke his promise for the promise of Bhishma Dev. Arjuna ran after Krishna and basically grabbed him by the legs and said, no, you promised. But still Krishna took up a weapon. So our Srila Gurudev, he said, Krishna says, Ma Shuchaha, you have my word, but he just broke his word. So, for us, what word do we accept? Krishna tells Arjuna, you declare it boldly. Shipram bhavati dharmatma sachvachchantim nagachtim konteya pratijanihi name bhaktya pranashiti. That my devotee. He's telling Arjuna because Arjuna is his surrendered devotee. You declare it boldly to the world that my devotee will never perish. Maybe even they might make some mistake, even a really bad mistake. An accident or something. But if they are one-pointed focused on me, very quickly they will be reinstated to their proper rightful position and they will be known as Dharmatma, the best of all dharmic persons, because of their exclusive one-pointed devotion to me. He said, even if, yes, okay, even if. It's practically an impossibility, but even anyhow, you declare boldly that my bhakta, my devotee, will never perish.
And we got this knowledge as it is from our Srila Prabhupada, so we're so fortunate. Today one devotee came up and she said, Gita Jayanti Ki Jai, and then she said, Srila Prabhupada giving Bhagavad Gita as it is. This is our greatest gift on this day. How many people read it, how many people hear it, and it's completely wrong, completely misinterpreted. But there Srila Prabhupada gave it in the mood that Krishna wants to give it, that our acharyas are showing what is the absolute truth. So Srila Prabhupada is also that person that we hear it from as it is, from Krishna's devotee, that we have received this knowledge. It should be acknowledged.
Srila Prabhupada explained that because only the pure devotee can understand Krishna as he is. If one does not have pure devotion for Krishna, then what you're getting might not be Krishna as it is. Chances are it won't be. So Srila Prabhupada was explaining that so many have made commentaries on Bhagavad Gita, but as a scholastic thing. They're reading the Sanskrit, they're translating it, they're giving commentaries, but they don't have devotion for Krishna. So many have even done Mayabad commentaries on Bhagavad Gita, and because of no devotion, they're not able to present it as it is.
Also, when you hear Shri Krishna is saying to surrender to the Tattva Darshi, also when you read our Srila Gurudev's Bhagavad Gita with the commentaries of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, you see all of the inner dialogue that's going on. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is telling Krishna is then saying this, and Arjuna will say this.
And what they're thinking.
And so you get this whole inner dialogue, inner meanings, and it's so extraordinary, and our acharyas have just freely given this to us. But Srila Prabhupada is as it is.
Srila Gurudev established that the pure devotee, actually Srila Prabhupada established it too. So his Bhagavad Gita he presented as it is, because it is transcendental and pure and free from any inebriety or any selfish motive. It is only done out of pure service for Krishna, so he's able to present Krishna because Tamar Hridaya Sada Govinda Vishnam. He's captured Krishna within the core of his heart. So all pure devotees who present Bhagavad Gita, including Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhaktivedānta Thakur, all of our acharyas, then their presentation, if they are really pure in heart, in loving service to Krishna, is also as it is. Jai. Shri Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Shri Gita Jayanti ki jai. Shri Krishna Arjuna ki jai. Bharati Ekadashi ki jai. Lord Jesus Christ, Jesus Christo ki
Merry Christmas.
jai. Merry
Jai.
Christmas to all. I was going to sing one
And
of
to all
my
a good night.
Christmas carols from when I
No,
was
you're
young.
not. No, you're not.
Turn you around, take a shot.
Kishori, stop. Jai.
No, they made songs during the Christmas marathon when we were young. There was a Christmas marathon, and in Los Angeles, I don't know who made it, but they were playing constantly, day after day after day, based on the Christmas carols, but it was all like Krishna-ized versions, and so that was the only version I knew, and I didn't understand the other version. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Lord Jesus Christ ki jai. Gaura Bhaktivedānta ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Govinda Damodara Madhave. Govinda Damodara Madhave. Govinda Damodara Madhave. Govinda Damodara Madhave. Guru Radhe Radhe Radhe. Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Radhe Radhe Radhe. Jai 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 Shri Radhe.
Haribo! Thank you
Wow.
for spending Christmas with us too.
So much is coming in right now, and I want to share it
I have
tomorrow.
to stop him.
So thank you all so much for being with us today, sharing this Christmas day with us. See, we have our little Christmas decorations there. This is our Christmas decoration. Krishna's decoration. So thank you all for being with us and giving us the opportunity to glorify these days and these personalities, to glorify Lord Jesus Christ today, and Madhavtiti Ekadashi and Gita Jayanti.
And also Jiva Pavana Prabhu for posting so much nectar.
Oh yes, wow, what
Just
an
amazing.
Actually, that was the real class. Was
Thank
what he was
you,
posting.
dear family, for being with us today and for allowing us to share such a sweet day with you.
Thank you for engaging us and remembering the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and our Guru Varga. And also, I just want to express our indebtedness to each and every one of you for giving us the opportunity on a daily basis of following the order of our Srila Gurudev to continue endeavoring to travel the world and preach his mission, to share on his behalf what he has given. And also, we look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, dear Vaishnavas. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Hare Krishna. Radha Vinu Bihari Ju ki jai. Sachinandan Gaura Hari ki jai. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And to all
A good night. Or day or morning. Radhe Radhe.